Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss important question and answers of the poem 9 Gold Medal, which is written by David Roth. So here I begin, and before that let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not subscribed up till now, then please do, and don't forget to press the like button, and yes, also hit the bell icon for my latest notification and leave a comment below. So children, let us start with the important question and answers of the poem 9 Gold Medals, which is written by David Roth. So my first question is, where did the athletes come from so many countries? Why? And the answer is, the athlete came from so many countries to the venue of the Special Olympics. The athletes reached here to win medals for their brilliant performance. Question number 2. What do the words gold, silver and bronze stand for in the extract? Do you think the contestants were prepared well for the event? Give a reason for your answer. Answer. The words gold, silver and bronze stand for the gold medal, silver medal and the bronze medal respectively. These are the top 3 honors of any high-level sports competition. The contestants were certainly prepared well for the event. As the poet says, they had undergone months of rigorous training before the game started. Question number 3. What event is referred to here in the poet? Here by the poet. What kind of athletes were they? What was their aim? And the answer is, the event referred to here by the poet is 100-meter race in Special Olympics. This was the most important of all events. A large number of people came to watch that event. The athletes described in the poem were specially abled participants who had been selected for the 100-meter race. Their aim was to win the gold, silver and bronze medals in the Special Olympics. These medals are tokens of top honors that are conferred on best performing athletes. Question number 4. How did they prepare themselves for this special event? And the answer is, all the athletes had prepared rigorously for this special event. They had been trained by their coaches for the several months. The training had boosted the level of their self-confidence so much that each of them wanted to achieve the best and reach the zenith of glory by winning the top honor of the game. Question number 5. What does this stanza tell you about the nature and level of the sports event referred to here? And the answer is, the first line states that athletes have come from all over the country. In the second line, we are informed that they have come to participate in a sports event where the best performers will receive awards that are usually given away at the world's premier sports competitions such as Olympic Games and Paralympics. Then the next line tells us that the participating athletes have undergone long and consistent training before reaching the games site. This again suggests that the sports event referred to is a high-level multi-sports event. Now the questions are based on the next stanza. And my first question to this second stanza is, what sports event is referred to earlier in the contest? And the answer is, the sports event referred to earlier in the contest is 100-meter race. This is the most popular of all events and is organized as the last or concluding one in any sports competition. Question number 2. What does the poet's reference to the spectators who have gathered to watch the event imply? And the answer is, the spectators were in a very cheerful and encouraging mood. They were passionate and curious to see their favorite contestants touching the finish line. They have been simply referred to as young women and men. This suggests that at least the visible majority of them are young. This also suggests that 100-meter race is very popular among youngsters in general. Question number 3. What event was about to begin? And the answer is, the event that was about to begin was the 100-meter race. There was a huge and enthusiastic crowd of spectators waiting eagerly for the contestant to start running. The air was filled with excitement as everyone was keenly looking forward to welcoming the most outstanding sprinters claiming the top 3 medals. Question number 4. Which phrase has been used by the poet to describe the venue or the place where the event is going to take place? What does this imply? And the answer is, the phrase used by the poet to describe the venue is the old field. It implies that this field is the preferred venue for the most important of all athlete events. It's also possible that any other field which could have been referred to as the new field might not be fully prepared to organize this event. Question number 5. What does this stanza tells you about the temperament of the spectators? And the answer is, according to the poet, the spectators who have assembled are passionate and ardent lovers of the game. They are very excited and are eagerly looking forward to watch the proceedings of the event and the performance of the athletes participating in it. My next third stanza is, the signal was given, the pistol exploded, and so did the runners on hearing the sound. But the youngest among them stumbled and staggered and fell on his knees to the ground. So my first question on this stanza is, during the race, who had the bad luck? What happened to him? What were his feelings then? And the answer is, during the race, one of the runners had the bad luck while running for the medal in the 100-meter race. He suddenly fell down. He was extremely sad and dejected after this. Question number 2. What strange thing happened? And the answer is, when the 9 athletes started running, one of them suddenly stumbled and fell down. Such incidents may happen sometimes and people forget them, as the focus is always on the athlete who touches the finish line before others. It is on the basis of their performance that the quickest of them gets the top honor, that is the gold medal. But as the poet says, that did not happen in the Special Olympics described here. While when one of the athletes fell on the ground. The other athlete stopped running and turned around to help the one who had fallen. Then they all joined hands and started walking rather than running to the finish line. Question number 3. Which phrase has been used to indicate that the race has started? Which is the only word that describes the physical features of the athlete who falls? Why were the runners charging ahead? Answer. The phrase "the pistol exploded" indicates that the race has started. The superlative degree adjectives youngest used here describes his physical features. The runners described here are athletes participating in a 100-meter race. They are charging ahead to reach the target within a specific time frame already fixed for the race. Question number 4. Do you think that the sight of the athlete falling during the course of a race is unusual? What does this result in? Answer. Yes, this is something unusual, but not impossible. After all, athletes too are human beings, and so despite all their preparations, they may be disturbed or distracted by something. As per the rules, if the athlete falls during the course of the race, he is normally given no second chance to rectify his mistakes. Question number 5. How did the shortest of the athlete reacted to what had happened to him later? Answer. The shortest of the athletes participating in the race fell down while running for the top honors. He knows that the chances of his success have been spoilt due to his sudden fall. This would amount to end of his long cherished dreams and the efforts he had made to release it. Thinking all this, he is unable to restrain himself and gives out a cry. His crying indicated his deep frustration and sense of failure. My next stanza is: he gave out a cry of frustration and anguish, his dreams and his effort dashed in the dirt. But as sure as I'm standing here telling the story, now it's a strange one. But here's what occurred. The 8 other athletes stopped in their tracks. The ones who had trained for so long to compete, one by one they all turned back and came back to help him and lifted the lad to his feet. Question number 1 based on this stanza is: what were his dreams? What were his frustrations? Answer. Like every athlete, he wanted to win the 100-meter race. In order to prepare for this race, he had devoted a lot of time and energy. Naturally, when he fell down during the course of the event, he lost his heart. He was so frustrated that he began to cry. I hope, children, you are understanding what the answer is trying to tell. This question is trying to tell. So, as the athlete fell down, the youngest one, he was very much frustrated and he thought that his all practice and all hard work is over. So he began to cry. Question number 2. What does the poet mean by the line, "The same goes for what next occurred"? And the answer is: usually, the fall of an athlete during a race means his disqualification. This implies that he is out of the race and there is no possibility for him to join it again. At the same time, it also means that the race will continue for other participants. Here, the poet says that the situation is not going to be so easily predictable. In fact, these lines suggest that something unusual or unconventional is going to follow, though the poet avoids giving any more description. Question number 3. State in your own words what the 8 other runners did. What did their reaction reflect on their attitude? And the answer is, when the youngest of the 8 runners fell, the 8 others immediately noticed this. They stopped running, turned back, and helped the athlete who had fallen to stand up. Their action clearly showed that they attached primacy to the human values and were more concerned about helping their rival in distress than only winning for the individual glory and honor. Question number 4. How do these lines bring about the main theme of the poem? One by one, they all turned around and went back to help him and brought the young boy to his feet. And the answer is, these lines suggest the significance of true sportsmanship. When one of the 9 athletes contesting for 100-meter race slipped and fell on the ground, the other 8 contestants could have continued to run towards the finish line. However, instead of doing so, they preferred to stop and approach the fallen contestant to help him. This great gesture of sensitivity, benevolence, and self-sacrifice shown by the 8 athletes sets a very benchmark of the moral and motivation for all the sports person. It brings into focus the great significance of human values in the highly competitive arena of sports, where each participant of any game fights for glory and eclat, treating others as rivals. So the main theme of this poem is to highlight this aspect only. Question number 5. Narrate what happened after the young boy was brought to his feet. Answer. When the young boy was brought to his feet, all the 9 runners joined hands. They decided that they won't continue the race as rivals competing with one another. Instead, they all joined hands like comrades and started walking together to the finish line. Question number 6. Why did the 8 contestants give up their competitive spirit? Answer. The 8 contestants attached more significance to humanitarian values underlying the spirit of sportsmanship rather than their competitive spirit that would earn them individual glory and honor. By their unique act, they proved thus that competition was important, but far more important was the spirit of the game. Question number 7. How does the reaction of the 8 athletes imply the spirit of the sportsmanship? Answer. The spirit of the sportsmanship motivates a sportsperson to play a game without being insensitive to basic human values. It basically means that though sportspersons participating in the same event compete for success and glory with the same intensity and anxiety. They must not treat one another as enemies. Here, the athlete have shown a high degree of sportsmanship by sacrificing their own dream to help another athlete who was competing with them as a rival. My next stanza is there. Then all the 9 runners joined hands and continued. The 100-meter reduced to a walk, and the banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been nearer the mark. Question number based on this stanza is number 1. What does the first line mean? Answer. The first line means that the 9 athletes competing in the 100-meter race have ceased to be rivals. Instead, they are friends now, and so they have no hurry now to leave one another behind in order to reach their target. Question number 2. Why did the 9 athletes join hands? What did their reaction of joining hands show? Why was the race reduced to a walk? And the answer is, they joined hands to show that they were not competitors in the game, but companions who could not see one another in distress. Their action of joining hands showed the highest level of sportsmanship. Once all the contestants joined hands, the race had lost its competitive significance. Thus, the act of running for individual honor or glory had ceased to be important. That is why the race was reduced to a walk. So children, my third question is of this stanza is that what does the poet mean when he says the 100-meter reduced to a walk? And the answer is, here the poet clarifies that the act of running fast, which is the core of 100-meter event, is not important now, as the 8 athletes have together decided not to continue it. Their purpose to help the 9th athlete is far more important than the dream of winning medals. That is why the typical dash has been reduced to a walk. Question number 4. Who won the race in the end, as described later in the poem? And the answer is, as the poem describes, none of them emerged as the winner individually. This implies that the high level of sportsmanship shown by them made all the athletes a winner. The organizer recognized this and decided to give gold medals to all of them. Question number 5. How did the last event turn out to be a special one? And the answer is, the last event turned out to be a special one because of something that had never happened before. It did not reflect their skill, talent, or quantum of training they had received as sportsmen. Instead, it shows their absolutely humanitarian approach to game, setting a great standard of sportsmanship, compassion, and collaboration. Question number 6. Give the meaning and significance of the line and the banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been nearer the mark. Answer. In these lines, the poet says that he categorically refers to the name of the sports tournament for the first time, that is Special Olympics. Special Olympics are really special for it displayed human compassion, cooperation and collaboration rather than competition. According to the poet, this Olympic could not have been more perfect. My next and the last stanza is that's how the race ended with 9 gold medals. They came to the finish line holding hands still, and the banner above the 9 smiling faces said more than these words ever will. So, my first question on the last stanza is how did the race end? In what way were the ending appropriate? And the answer is the race ended with all the 9 athletes winning gold medals. The ending could not have been more appropriate. Due to their unique show of sportsmanship, they were applauded by the crowd and the event assumed historic significance. The organizers of the game aptly felt that all of them deserved gold medals. Question number 2. How does this stanza capture the reaction of the spectators? And the answer is we are informed that the 9 athletes are accorded grand ovation for the great spirit shown by them. The spectacle is amazing, and the spectators are also sensitive enough to understand the glory of the moment. Question number 3. How did the contestants feel when they crossed the finish line together? Which words in the extract indicate their mood? How did the spectators react? Answer. They were extremely delighted when they crossed the finish line together. The smiling faces of the contestant indicated their mood. The spectators gave them a standing ovation, recognizing their great gesture. Question number 4. Why were all participants in the race awarded with the gold medals? Answer. The organizers aptly felt that none of them was the sole winner of the game's top honor. As a matter of fact, all of them equally deserved the honor by collectively contributing towards raising the standards of sportsmanship. That was the reason why all 9 participants received gold medals. Question number 5. How did the race in the Special Olympics became very special indeed? And the answer is each of the athletes participating in the Special Olympic was fired with the longing, zeal and passion to achieve the top honor. However, when one of them stumbled during the decisive course of the most important event, other contestants showed a great gesture of sportsmanship, unmindful of their individual claims to glory. To them, helping their rival was the most important motive. It was because of them that the Special Olympics became so special. Question number 6. How does the poem show the values of true sportsmanship? And the answer is true sportsmanship is not about winning medals by showing excellence in terms of skill and competition and competence. Basically, it's all about the sportsperson commitment to fundamental human values that he or she expresses while maintaining the competitive spirit of the game. In this poem, the athletes participating in a Special Olympics event show the highest degree of such commitment just at the time when they are competing with one another for the top honors. During the course of the event, when each of them is trying to move ahead of others, one of them falls down. This brings the 8 other participants to a sudden halt as they immediately stopped and turned back to help him stand on his feet. While doing so, they do not care for their own prospects of winning the competition. Question number 7, and this is my last question, children. What is the theme of the poem? How is it conveyed? And the answer is, the theme of the poem is the spirit of sportsmanship based on human values and humanitarian approach to sports. It is conveyed by the response of the 800-meter race contestant to the 9th contestant of the race who falls at the most critical moment. The 8 athletes immediately rush towards the fallen athlete and help him. Thereafter, they no longer remain rivals competing for the top honor of the game. Instead, they establish camaraderie, thereby suggesting the precedence of the spirit of sportsmanship over competitive spirit. So, dear children, with these words, I end this lesson. I hope you have understood the question and answers which I have described, taking into account all the stanzas of the poem. Hope this lesson will be beneficial for you in your studies. Please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.